could do a mission a bit and then sell those things and never have to spend anything.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they did that because there's so many games I wish that was a thing in, and it's not. When I play a game and it says like, "Oh, well, you need to buy the premium currency, or you can't get anything," I'm like, "Damn, like, respectfully, fuck you a little bit."
Our informant is waiting for you in
Yeah, I'd say Fortnite's more of an exception than the rule, but yeah. But in this one, the fact that I can do a mission, like a mission that I like too, like a mission that I would play for fun if I didn't even get anything. I can get things that I can sell to people.
And a mission that you've already done 400 times.
Yeah, but I just love the mission. Like, I don't know. I would say if you really hate the idea of doing something again that you find really enjoyable,
you must be Dave Reddy.
I guess that's the differ. Is I don't.
For me personally, I love the way this game feels to play. Like, fundamentally.
I enjoy doing the missions, but I don't enjoy doing the missions. And I don't know how to explain what I mean by that.
I see. Whereas for me, like, I literally load up Exterminate sometimes and just, like, kill. Like, I don't need to do that for anything. I don't technically get that much out of it, resource-wise, because I already have enough of the resource I get from that. It's just, no, I kind of feel like just going in and just running around and like, trying out a build and killing some guys or something.
Right.
I just fundamentally enjoy that part so much that it doesn't even matter what I'm getting for it. The getting stuff is just kind of a bonus.
I'll put it like this. Here's another comparison. Have you ever played Firefight in Halo?
I don't think so.
Do you know what it is?
Can you refresh me?
Yeah, so it started in Halo 3 ODST. It's basically just like their version of survival. It's like a wave-based thing. There's a certain amount of enemies every wave, and they all come from the dropship. You're on like one small map area, and you just survive as long as you can, basically.
Okay.
They get increasingly harder as it goes on, whatever. So I find... Yeah, exactly. But not exactly. So I find that really enjoyable because it's difficult and you never know how far you can get. But I feel like survival and Warframe's more just how long do you want to play. I know it does get difficult at a point, but the majority of the ones that I've played, it's always... I need to get to wave 10 for this quest. Let me stay and play this until I get to that point. But I never had any trouble doing it.
I will also say that's because you're a little overleveled.
Because what?
Wait, do you mean like... I said you're a little bit overleveled. I would say if you're playing a survival mission that is at your caliber, it is so much more enjoyable than just being everything you're touching.
Yeah.
When I do a Steel Path survival mission with an unoptimized build, like...
see, that was an unoptimized build, and this and that. You're adding all these qualifiers. I don't feel like that makes sense.
That's one qualifier.
But you sounded like you cut yourself off from saying that.
No, I said when I do one with an unoptimized build. Or if I'm just like... There's mission types that scale a lot faster than survivals do. That I like to do also. Like, I can't really get into what the mission type is. But... like, the enemy levels, like, exponentially scale. So once you defend, like... Or you don't need to defend it, but once you, like, activate a few of these thingies, the enemy level starts to just skyrocket. And for that, it does get hard pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I love doing that. So that's kind of the same idea.
I suppose. I just feel like the under optimized build thing's more just like, if I play this firefight with one hand, it's gonna be difficult. Should I play with one hand? Probably not.
It'd be like if you did a firefight with a gun that you weren't like really cozy.
seconds from ingestion to reaction.
But that's
But
not
also-
optimized. That's just
Follow
not
you to the
familiar.
bathroom.
Okay. Or if I'm like,
Gruesome. But I survived worse.
I don't know, because I feel like
It just
if
seems
I'm
like you
using
have
like
to make it
if I'm using
intentionally hard.
if I'm using my best warframe or my best weapons, it can handle almost anything. But I'm also not always using them, and they're super situational. For example, I would say if I'm going to do a defense mission, I wouldn't be bringing my like super strong Gauss, because Gauss isn't really good at defense missions as much. If I brought a Gauss, I would live and I would do damage, but the defense target would die. So sometimes you bring frames that are less good at some things but better at others. And if I was bringing one of those that I might not play as much, I would say doing like a high level defense mission would even be hard to an extent.
Excuse me, sir. Seems like you're not cleared.
I don't know.
Does that,
I get what
does that
you're
make
saying.
sense?
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know if that really addressed what you were saying. You were saying that the firefight you like doing because you like to see how far you can go. Because it's difficult even with like endgame stuff on.
Well, no, there's no concept of endgame stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's kind of a fundamental difference from the get-go then.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there is one kind of like that, I guess. There's things that like they kind of
Your
remove
target,
all the mods and everyone starts in the same spot.
Dave Reddy, our informant, is waiting for you in the reception area. If you like,
I guess that sounds like it could be similar. Might be fun.
what you do from then
I just feel like
on,
most of Warframe stuff you have to intentionally make it hard or it's not hard.
will not wait around for long.
But again, I know
I'm gonna fundamentally disagree with that. I would say you're talking to a guy who does that, but that's because he has 3,000 hours in the game. If you're talking to almost anybody, they're always trying to do as much as possible, damage-wise and crowd control-wise.
but
It's just gotten to a point for me where, especially if I'm playing,
You must be Dave.
like if I'm going into like, I don't know. When I said an unoptimized build, I didn't mean a bad build either. I just meant I would have the luxury of building it differently because I knew it could handle what it was doing regardless. Like for example, I might build a weapon with like corrosive instead of slash and viral because corrosive is more fun to play, even if it might not necessarily bring you to level cap. That makes sense.
I think that we're both right because we're both talking about personal preference.
I'm with you. I've been agreeing since the get-go. I thought you were doing this thing where we were just kind of arguing just cause.
Yeah, no, we are. I'm just saying I'm exhausted at this point.
I see. Because I was never trying to beat you. I realized that we're gonna fundamentally differ regardless. I was trying to get my views across more effectively.
And I think you did convince me of something. So it was a successful exercise, and I'm getting a phone call, so I will be right back. I'm not trying to just bail, I swear.
I understand.
Hello?
Apparently, I'm late for work.
Uh-oh.
That's fucked. I didn't realize I worked today.
Wait, you say you work?
Yeah,
Oh.
apparently.
Okay, I was on my mom talking about hockey at the moment. I was mentioning how I might be over at your house, but I guess if you work, then that's far not
Yeah,
gonna
that's
happen.
not happening, I guess. Shit.
Right? Alright.
I thought I had 2 days in a row. Alright. Shit, that sucks.
Okay, I need to finish my phone call. I'll be back, but that sucks. I hope everything works out at work. I hope they aren't too mad.
They're gonna be a little.
I'm sure they'll be a little bad, but hopefully they can get over it. I don't know. Okay, I'll be back.
Hey, Nick.
Okay, I'm back. What's up, Sam?
Hi.
Hey. Did you need something? You said, hey, Nick, while I was
Yeah,
on the phone.
saying your name.
Did you have something you wanted to say?
Not in particular.
Are you sure? Felt like you had something you were getting at.
I thought you were on the phone, though.
I was. I'm not anymore.
Are you on? Oh, you're not anymore?
No, I hung up so I could see what you needed.
Wait, you hung up on the
What?
phone
No.
to see what I needed?
That wasn't the only reason. That was. Yeah. Sorry. What's up?
I was just saying, hey, Nick.
Yeah, but you don't just. Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
You don't just. I don't just. I'm saying that because you said, hey, Nick, but normally you don't just do that.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't. I don't know.
You feel like I don't what?
I feel like you don't want to say what you wanted for some reason.
Maybe it's because I was giving you a chance to go back to your phone call because I called you away for no reason.
Well, the phone call's done. I hung up.
Maybe I didn't know that at the time, and I assumed that someone was waiting on me to finish what I was saying before you go back to him, and I didn't want to be that guy that called you away just to say something dumb and unrelated for no reason.
It's completely okay. Everything's good. Can you say the thing you had though?
You're not gonna like it.
That's okay.
I'm just kidding.
I don't like most of the things you say, but we get over it.
Wow.
I'm sorry, that's a joke. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What was it? What was your thing?
No, it's fine. I'm just gonna say one other thing that I find enjoyable to do. And this isn't me trying to change minds either. This is me just saying something else I like to do for fun.
Of course.
Is sometimes there's like a Warframe that I really like, right? Like a lot.
Like Gauss.
But that might, like Gauss, but they might not necessarily be optimized for a specific type of mission. Like I was saying, like Gauss isn't really good at like defense missions, for example. And one fun thing that I like to try to do sometimes is through various systems that the game has, I will try to find a way to make a build to make that Warframe good at something that they're not technically really built to do. Because I find that enjoyable.
Yeah, that does seem fun.
Because there are ways to make Gauss good at defense, but just my usual build for Gauss isn't defense focused.
Yeah.
And similarly, maybe not similarly, but in my experience, there's like 3 or 4 Warframes. I'd say probably like 3 Warframes that are fundamentally incredible at certain things, but I don't really. Whenever I play them, I'm like, all right, well, like they're really good, but this also is. It might help your case on what we were talking about earlier, but I'm not having that discussion anymore, apparently.
Okay.
But there's like 1 or 2 frames where they still feel unique and they still have their shtick and everything. But to an extent, especially this one guy, I'm gonna just say him by name because
he's gonna say the thing.
All right, so there's a guy called Revenant, right?
Uh huh.
And Revenant is an amazing Warframe at staying alive. arguably the best at staying alive in the game.
Big time.
He's so hard to kill.
Uh-huh.
Virtually immortal at almost any level. Pretty, like, it's not... You still need a pretty good build, but it doesn't have to be, like, min-max to make it possible.
Uh-huh.
And he does, like, one or two other things, but by and large, he's, like, known as being that guy that just... When you play him, it's really hard to get killed with. And he might be really effective, and he might be objectively an excellent option for things where you don't need to die, which is most things, but you know what I mean?
Right.
But when I'm actually playing him, I'm not like, wow, I'm having a blast right now. Because he's really, really good, but I wouldn't describe him as like the funnest guy in the world.
Because of the lack of challenge, or just in general his playstyle isn't exhilarating?
I would say it's kind of a mixture of both. Because I would say that, like, his first ability is pretty solid. His second ability is an invincibility one. His third one is...
Wait. So he already basically can't die and he has an invincibility ability?
No, that is the invincibility ability.
Oh, that's what you
He has an
meant by
ability that
basically
gives
can't
him
die.
a certain... He gets a certain amount of charges, right?
Okay.
And anytime he takes any amount of damage, he loses one charge. That could be 5 damage, that could be like 10 million damage. It doesn't matter how much damage it was, he loses one charge for that.
Okay.
Which is really strong and scales technically forever. But, like, he can like make some... He can mind control some enemies and whatnot. He can like dash through them and get some health back, which doesn't really matter on him.
Mm-hmm.
But... And his fourth ability is like a bit of a nuke, but it doesn't really scale that high. So he's pretty strong and incredibly hard to kill, but I wouldn't say he's like... I've never like... It's so rare that I play him and think, wow, I'm having a complete blast right now.
I've got a ton of things to prepare at my end today.
He's really effective, just not very fun, I guess.
Uh-oh. Hang on a second. I just accidentally broke my sound. I cannot hear you anymore.
You just broke your sound?
I fixed it. Sorry, I was messing. I had to. It's a whole story. I'll wait to tell it until you finish what you're saying.
Okay. I also can't fully remember exactly why I was talking about it, but I'm just saying that just because there's an option that's objectively good doesn't mean it's an option that you'd necessarily want to use.
Uh-huh.
Like, if there was, like, an item in Hitman that you could just touch a guy with it and walk away and he would die in, like, 2 minutes and no one would ever be able to trace you.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so easy to beat the missions, but, like, I don't know if it would really be enjoyable to beat the missions anymore.
Right.
That's kind of relevant.
There is actually a comparable. Like, that. There's a
Do you ever use it?
Yes. It's so there's... Oh, how do I want to...
Well, I just felt like that was the best example. If you can think of a better comparison, I'm all ears. Or if you had, like, a homing bullet that would just seek him out and kill him.
Yeah, like, no, I get what and agree with what you're saying. I do, like, there's a... If I'm trying to speed run the contract, because similarly to what I complained about in Warframe, it's basically just like a keep playing this game, so here's a thing that takes forever, and I just need to get contracts completed. Then I'll use something that basically if you can get behind the... So normally in Hitman, if anyone sees the body, then you lose your silent assassin rating. And it's like, uh-oh, you only get 4 stars now, or whatever. But if you use a poison, then the body can be found. And there's a injectable syringe lethal poison. So sometimes it can be kind of easy to just use a certain item to make the target get away from everyone else, and then just jab them with the syringe, and then
That
you're
makes
done.
sense.
It's
That was
super easy. It is still fun. If you're trying to make a cool way to Like if you're trying to make an impressive or worth sharing method on how you were able to complete this mission or whatever, I would never just be like clown fart syringe.
That makes sense. Well, it's kind of a similar idea too, I guess. Because like, I still use them, but only on like one mission type. And it's not even like the hardest hitting mission type. It's just a mission type where if your teammates go down, they're just dead.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be like considered one of the end game ones, and so they put a modifier in there where like if you go into the bleed out and then you actually die, you're just gone.
Mm.
And one of the good things about this guy is those charges, he has an augment that gives his teammates some of them. And so I like to use them sometimes just so I don't have to revive my teammates. Sometimes.
Alright.
Which I guess I'm using the invincibility guy so that I'm less inconvenienced because I don't want to... I mean, like, I'm fine reviving people. I do it all the time. But...
Of course.
In that mission type, it's kind of a hassle. Because, like, the way I've made my build, it's a pretty... The boss type that you have to fight has, like, this specific mechanic where you want to do, like, a lot of damage as soon as possible, as soon as they're vulnerable.
Uh-huh.
Because they kind of build up a resistance to your damage as you shoot them more. And so the more damage you do immediately, the less they get the chance to really build that up. But if I'm trying to do that, my teammate goes down, now it's like, alright, well, I still want this guy to, like, I'm not just going to let him die.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of missing my window. So if I can just put charges on everybody, I don't have to deal with it. But long and the short of it is he's still really good at that, but that's literally all I use him for. Because if you're doing anything where you need to like defend a point, or you need to like, if you need to complete something else, the main thing he's good at is just not being killed.
Yeah, makes sense.
So he's not like, I wouldn't say he's like the most versatile. I'd say if somebody said, I need a guy who just doesn't die, I don't care how fun they are, I'd be like, alright, this guy. If that's something that matters, then I'd say literally almost anybody else would be better. And to an extent, there's one other Warframe who, like, kind of... There's one or two frames that can turn invisible. And turning invisible is great, but when you're invisible, enemies just can't see you anymore. Which means they're not shooting at you. Which means you can shoot them and they can't really shoot you.
Yeah.
Which is a great mechanic in terms of thematic appropriateness. And once you shoot enough bullets, they'll be like, oh, that's kind of where he is, and start shooting aimlessly at you. Like, roughly where you just were. Or they shoot it where they hear the gunfire coming from.
Can they still hit you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you can also suppress your weapons or use a bow or something, and then they don't know where it's coming from at all. And then there's still technically some things that could hit you, but they're not going to be shooting at you. So, I don't know. Like, a few people are kind of divided on that. Because it's always been a mechanic, and like they've made changes to it in the past. And I don't see any problem with it, because there's other really strong things out there. But it's a very preferential thing, where some people love being invisible and not being shot at, and some people are like, it kind of just... If I'm invisible, then like, what's the challenge here?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know which camp you fall into, so...
I mean, if I'm gonna be invisible the whole time...
Well, like, it lasts for, like, duration. Like, you're invisible for, like, a certain amount of seconds. And then you're uninvisible.
Yeah, if it's not constant, I mean, I don't think I would hate it too much. But if it's repeatably usable and I can just chain it and be invisible the entire match, that might be a little boring.
Makes sense. And there's like... There's 2 frames that can do it, like... I guess technically 3. But one of them that can turn invisible as soon as she attacks, she immediately turns uninvisible again. But then the other 2, you can just cast invisibility, and then you're invisible for the duration. And then once the duration runs out, you can recast it if you want to, if you still have the energy. Loki's actually one of them. Loki actually has the longest invisibility duration, so like you could just activate it and then stay. If you have like a really solid duration build on him, you could just stay invisible for like 30 seconds or something at a time. Which might not sound like a lot, but for invisibility, that's a ton.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. for invisibility, I wouldn't. What do they say? It's something to scoff at. Is that what they say?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. And that's why I've always enjoyed Ash though a little bit more, because like he also has invisible. He can also turn invisible for a while, but it's for like 10 seconds. If you have like a good duration build on him, for example, I have a pretty sizable amount of duration on my Ash. I can turn invisible for 18 seconds, which is still really high, but I sacrificed a lot of other things on him to get that duration that high.
Right.
So it's like a trade-off. And even then, 18 seconds, like, you cast it, you shoot a little bit, and then, like, you gotta recast it. You have to recast that a lot if you're in a longer mission. So it doesn't really feel that unbalanced.
Yeah.
So that's also what people, I think, don't consider as much as, like, oh, you can turn invisible. But yeah, you have to cast it every time. Like, it's not like it's just up. There's one Warframe that can do that, but then she like can't move as fast, and it slowly drains her energy over time, so it does kind of limit her too. That's probably the most balanced invisibility in my opinion, because like it's still there, but there's so many trade-offs to using it.
Mm.
I don't know why I was talking about that. I'm sorry. I just get so
You're okay.
I just get so tunnel vision in it because it's just there's so much.
Uh-oh.
And like
I
the
just lost
drip.
sound. My headphones just died? That would really suck.
That's unfortunate. You want something else?
Yeah, so,
Can you
turns
hear
out my
me?
headphones are dead. I can't
Uh-oh.
hear you.
Oh, geez. That's unfortunate.
I guess let me join on my phone. Oh, will you be quiet, Alexa? Hello?
Also, what I was saying.
This guy doesn't miss a beat. That was a good one. I like that.
But all seriousness, though, another thing I was gonna say. I also love drip. I realize it might not like. I just love the way like all.
Yes. No, sorry, I'm trying to. It's getting heated in my comment section. I was just trying to type something out. I heard you talking about the drip and you're customizing something.
Yeah, I think that's another thing I love how so many of them look aesthetically.
Yeah, they do look nice. It's a very visually appealing game. That.
Yeah, I mean, like the amount of effort, the amount of things I've run for training that my cosmetics is great. There's so many things that would just look so good.
Yeah.
I wish you could just make the copies bigger.
Don't we all?
But there's already some that have like some big sizable ones, but it's like. Did I ever tell you that they banned the word like trap? Like in all the chats.
You know.
Because there's one Warframe that would always say it looks like a trap. And it got so bad that they like. I think they also temporarily banned saying Warframes. That one.
Yeah,
And
that seems a bit far.
Yeah. Then they banned like the word trap, so you can't say it still. I think. Wouldn't stop saying at all.
Yeah.
And honestly, they're kind of right. Like I see it, but I don't know. Like it's very tweaky looking Warframe.
nothing. Nothing at all.
I'm just saying, like, I totally get that vibe. But it's just kind of funny to be banned. Like, if I said it right now, I could get trade chat. Because, and it all started when he came out, and that was like 7 years. Still can't say it's that bad.
Yeah.
I'm not opening a can of worms. If you did want to glance at it, I'm not gonna start showing.
I guess I'll take it. I mean,
I might not get.
I don't know. I like the way it looks though. I kinda want that thing. I didn't say that. Ooh, that might be my favorite thing of yours that I've seen. Oh, it's very nice. Oh, very well. I like how it's like the little, there's leaves. Leaf.
It's like when I first had it, right? Then it came out. Chest.
Yeah, no, always very sick. For sure.